about 3 players right now. You see them on my screen. Antonio Gibson, right there. James Robinson and Justin Jefferson. 3 players that I think have a ton of relevancy in terms of dynasty trades. Are they going to continue to flourish in their NFL careers? They're all young. They're all up and coming. They all had big 2020 campaigns so far. And Gibson, what's up, Noah? Gibson, we all kind of thought could be this good. Everybody kind of liked him, but nobody saw James Robinson coming. I don't think you could find an analyst out there that doubted Leonard Fournette on record more than I did, and I still didn't see James Robinson coming from far away. Once he became relevant, you knew to pick him up from SleeperU.com as the top pickup of that week. But nobody saw him coming in the offseason, and the writing was on the wall that Leonard Fournette was not the future in Jacksonville. So quite crazy that James Robinson snuck up on everybody. And Justin Jefferson, I don't know if you remember the rookie write-ups and analysis I did, but this guy, him and Mims, to me, had more talent other than CeeDee Lamb and Judy than anybody else by far. And these two, Mims and Jefferson, at one point during my analysis, I talked about how they could easily be the number 1 wide receiver from this draft class. In a draft class that is completely off the charts. It's crazy. I don't know what wide receiver class will be better. The 2019 class or the 2020. Between DK and then you got now Jefferson. Where's Jefferson even rank in 2021? Do people have him? Smitty, you were such an early believer in James Robinson. There were so many guys saying every week, sell high. Attaboy, James. Way to use that big noggin. Promoting the show right there with his comment. Yeah, I was quick to jump on James Robinson, but in fairness, the dude came out of nowhere. On screen, I have the 3 big dogs that we're talking about right now. Jiggity James Robinson, Antonio Gibson, and Jiggity Justin Jefferson. And I have their stats written right there. I'm not sure if you can read that. But 890, 6 TDs out of James Robinson. 36, 280, and 2. Guy's got 8 total touchdowns. Dude's having a season. Having a season. Antonio Gibson, 645 and 11 touchdowns. 11. That's a 1-1. 11. He doesn't have any receiving touchdowns. Imagine if he had a couple of receiving touchdowns. He has 11 rushing touchdowns. Is this guy, is James Robinson the next big name running back already? Is he top 5? Is he top 10? I'll tell you what. James Robinson's either going to be a first round pick in 2021 drafts, and that's if he finishes well. But if he doesn't, where do people draft him? Will he fall? It's so crazy how fickle everything can be off 2-3 games, on out from weeks. Let's say he does okay in week 13. And then week 14 and 15. Let me pull it up real quick. Let's say he does well. Let's say he doesn't do well in week 13 against the Steelers. And he faces the Niners in week 14. But let's say he finishes strong. Seattle, Carolina has 2 100-yard rushing game scores, 3 total rushing touchdowns between the 2 games in week 15 and 16. Where does he go? Top 10 overall? Top 12? Is everybody going to get too excited, or does he warrant that? Is he the next Christian McCaffrey? They talk about him that way in Washington. Coaching staff's like, this is CMC. And he's playing a lot like him. I would not call him Christian McCaffrey. I don't think he'll be ever as good as Christian McCaffrey, I think, still is. But The dude has top 10 running back upside from here on out. No question about it. No equivocation. There's no room for interpretation. He has that kind of upside. Could Washington screw it up? Abso-freaking-lutely. Just like any team can. You have to factor in that amount of risk. And the one thing I say, though, is Washington had every reason in the world not to keep feeding him the football. Washington had every reason in the world to say, hey, you know what? He's still raw. He's learning the running back position still. It's not his, he hasn't been his bread and butter position his whole life. He is learning the running back position still, which is scary. He's a hybrid wide receiver running back. That was one of the concerns that many people shared, is that Antonio Gibson, we've never seen a player that's a hybrid player, a slash. Cordell Stewart, think Cordell. Think Patterson, guys that are running back wide receivers, but never really, not the prototypical full-time running back. We've never seen it translate over into a player that's top 5 to 10 material going forward. We haven't seen it. So there's a little reason to be concerned that he may have not translated fully. And there's still some risk to it. Don't be naive and think that he's a lock. No one's a lock. And a player that emerges like Antonio Gibson has emerged holds a whole bag of risk heading into the next season. The question will be, is the risk only historical? Are there any glaring reasons why we should doubt Antonio Gibson walking into 2021 other than the fact that running backs do have that good rookie year, have the sophomore slump, the fact that historically we've never seen a running back transition from that slash hybrid role into an elite running back at the NFL level and in fantasy specifically? Do we let history guide us in the wrong direction and we doubt Gibson? I don't think anybody's going to doubt Gibson. I think he goes in the first freaking round in the end. But my point being, where do we draw the line of saying, hey, there's still a whole lot of risk here, and hey, the scales are balanced enough, risk and reward. Risk isn't weighing it down too much. Reward isn't there anymore to where there's no risk, because that would be 3rd or 4th round material. You're having to take them high. The risk is there, but the upside's still just as heavy, and so you got to even scale. That's where I draft him. I draft Gibson at an even scale, maybe slightly in the direction of being a little bit more risky than the upside or the ability to hit. Maybe. But I think you start getting into crazy territory, you maybe want to pump the brakes. But we'll see where that is. We'll see how he finishes. If Gibson doesn't do well in weeks 13 through 16, you will see him fall outside of the top 12 overall heading into 2021 draft. So know that things can change with that. Now, Justin Jefferson, let me first of all, before we move on to Justin Jefferson, let me put Antonio Gibson stats up here on the screen and take a look at this guy's 2020 season. What a beast, man. Let me get this image here. Keep in mind that they weren't feeding him as much as they could have to start off the year. I'll get a lot of questions, don't worry guys. I want to start doing Q&A a little bit further into the show. Super chats jump ahead, obviously, but I want to have a structure to the show moving forward on the lives. I'll get to the Q&A. You can be sure about that, but I want to provide some content so that you guys, when you miss it, you get what the description talked about. So, I would say here, looking at this game log, 9 carries in week 1, 13 and 9, 13, 11, 9. Then he started getting a little more volume, 20 carries, 128, responding big time to that workload. 6 for 20 in week 9, 20 carries. Look at that. Only two 100-yard games, but a lot of total yards. 82 yards receiving in week 4. dude's legit. If only he had receiving touchdowns to boot, this dude would be even further locked into the top 12, top 15 overall. But I mean, that's some impressive stats for a guy that really hasn't been getting fed the way that other players are getting fed, that he's competing with from a fantasy football perspective. Like, he's not getting the volume that other guys are getting, and he's got 11 freaking touchdowns. Now, here is the next guy we need to talk about, Mr. Justin Jefferson, the phenom, the wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, the guy that has had not one, not two, not three, but 4 100-yard games as a rookie, and not one, but 2 multiple touchdown games as a rookie. 135 on 10 targets in week 10 against the Bears. Look at that 103. What was it? 175 in week 3 against the Titans. 7 receptions, a TD. Dude is a beast. And the concern I have with him is that we could be looking at a guy that I think gets more overhyped, and there's a little bit more risk. I love Jefferson. I love him, but I feel like if people start taking him in like the top 5 to 7 wide receiver range in 2021, which is what I feel like some people are leaning toward, which is a little bit risk injected, if you ask me, I'm okay grabbing him at a certain spot. But I want to know, and let's pause for a moment and go to the comments, and I'll throw them on screen. Where do you draft Justin Jefferson? Give me the pick, not the round. Give me the exact pick. 2.05, 3.07, 4.08. Give me the exact pick that comes to mind for you where you feel very confident in Justin Jefferson. Drop it. Jenkins didn't give a round, but he said, same as McLaurin. Interesting. I don't know if that's the exact comment. Noah, I'm not going to argue with this one. Lamb will be a guy I talk about a lot this offseason. I think Lamb's going to make a big leap, so get ready for content on Lamb, Noah. He's not a physical specimen. I beg to differ. I think Jefferson, in my rookie analysis, came away as one of the most skilled wide receivers in the class. Just dominant. Totally dominant. So, this right here is shocking because I've heard a lot higher. Claudia says 4.07. Mike Tyson says 5.5. I like that you guys aren't going super high. I'm feeling confident about these ranges. 6, 7, not even close, Jake, to where you're going to get him. I understand if you want to rank him there, but you won't see his name anywhere near the 7th round. I'm just telling you ahead of time. But I think maybe 5, round 5. I think some people are going to let it creep to round 4 as we get near August, and if he has any kind of hype behind him. If we started the season right away, let's say the season ended, as long as he didn't go off on a total tear, you would probably see him go in the 5-round range. But if he has good off-season hype, you might see him climb into the 4th round. Like, I can see it, the 4th round, 3rd round. Guy says 3.07 to 3.10. Don't be ashamed of it, Guy. We're looking for the big range of where all you would take him. So Guy's the highest right now. Will anybody beat Guy? Who would take Justin Jefferson and willing to put their nads on the table right now? Who's willing to take Justin Jefferson higher than Guy at 3.07? Speak up. Iron Mike says he's not a Cousins fan. Jake says Cousins basically sucks, says Jake. That's the going theme here. I'm taking Thielen over him, says Claudio. I'll take Jefferson over overrated D-Hop. Noah,
take a lap.
You didn't just say
take a lap.
that you take Justin Jefferson over DeAndre Hopkins. DK 2nd round. Good luck finding him there, Claudio. DK won't be in the second. DK's a 1st round pick walking into 2020 unless he bombs out weeks 13 through 17. Weeks 13 through 17 could determine a lot for ADP and where guys are going to fall. JJ over everything, says Rico. Rico, are you going to beat Guy's value? He said he'd take him at 3.07 to 3.10. I want to know if Rico can beat that. Would you take him higher? We're not going to make fun of you. I just want to know where the limits are. I think the problem with D-Hop is Kyler and the spread out offense. I love D-Hop. I'm fine with D-Hop. Smitty, Thielen, or Jefferson next year? Jefferson. I like Thielen. He's not super old. He's not a spring chicken, but he's not done. He's got a couple years for sure. But I think Jefferson takes over. I think Jefferson's the guy to own. I've always tied wide receivers to the QB quality, says Iron Mike Tyson. Well, Iron Mike, know that guys like Calvin Johnson, D. Hopkins before Watt, like guys survive. And the elite players can do well. I think Cousins is good enough, and there's a certain mix of you want a team playing from behind, not blowing out teams, needing to pass the ball. Stafford's always been pretty, not an elite fantasy football quarterback, but throws enough and is a good fit for wide receivers to produce well. Rico says no, I wouldn't take Guy for 3.7. So Guy's still the leader. Guy's the leader. What about who are we talking about? Gibson. Who would take Gibson the highest walking into 2021? Speak now or forever remain silent on the topic. Be the person that cracked the highest predicted ADP slot that you would draft Gibson in. I want to know who would draft Gibson the highest on the live right now. Gibson. Gibson probably 2.1, says Guy. Well, Guy, let's see if anybody can top you on that. I'd take 3.1 to 3.5, says Robin. Robin, you didn't win that. Rob, you didn't win. Claudio, you didn't win. Nitro says 3.3, you did not win. Guy, we're going to start calling you the reaching guy. Okay. The reaching guy. Guy so far is okay. Dried Ocean says 1.1, but we know he's just trying to take Guy's thunder. Don't take the reaching guy's thunder. Guy the reacher. Where does Jamar? Hold on, where'd that comment go? I lost it. Who are you taking over him? Noah? Sorry, the comments went fast. I'm trying to read as many as I can. The reaching guy. Or Guy, would you rather be called Guy the Reacher or the Reaching Guy? Call me Rapper 2.0. The Reach Around. Leo. What's up, Leo? 1.11 says Leo. Leo taking first place. I don't know if Leo's just trying to get a shout out, but Leo says 2.11. I think I believe Leo because Leo could have just said 1.12, but he actually went 2 spots higher. Derek says he'd take him. Where'd Derek say? 2.5 to 3. That's safe. Safer. I don't know if it's safe. It's safer. I think first round's going to get crazy, but depending on how he finishes, you might see him getting drafted that high. Don't think he won't go that high. He very well could. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Let's move on to the next guy. Very interesting topic, I think. All three of these guys are just... I could talk about them for hours because we don't know where they're going to go. Next on the list would be Mr. James Robinson. Mr. Robinson. Mr. Robinson. Where are we taking this guy? Toss out a exact pick that you would... the highest you would go for James Robinson. Who? I might add... not one 100-yard game, not 2 100-yard games, not 3, but 4 100-yard rushing efforts out of the little man. And he only had 1 multiple rushing TD game, but he did have multiple TD. So 2 multiple TD games out of the dude in 2020, which is pretty good. And, receiving yards, I would like to see him get more in the receiving game. He had a 31, 21, 3, 0, 18, 24. I'm reading up. 22, 32, 83 in week 3. But I'd love to see him used a lot more in the receiving department. Now they changed staffs, and their offense wasn't the same when the year prior Leonard Fournette had 70 whatever receptions. It would have been interesting to see that same coaching style. I don't know if that would have catered to James Robinson's game. James Robinson did pretty good and brought the thunder in this particular offense and scheme. But I wonder if they fed Robinson like they fed Fournette in 2019, what the hell would he have done in 2020? Would he have just absolutely exploded? I think he's capable. A lot of targets. I mean, look, 6 targets the last game. He's getting targeted. There's no target issue there. Quarterback play, you could blame. So we got 1.4. This has got to. You wouldn't really take him that high, would you? I don't know if I can make you the winner on that. You're just trying to impress some people. Leo says 2.5. J-Rob Thick says Nitro. Round 1, pick 5, says Derek. I think Derek's got the real number. I don't know if this is fake. Let me know. Patil? I don't know how you say your name. Let me know if you're for real on that. Derek, explain yourself. I'll put your comment on screen. Why do you think James Robinson is worthy of the 1.5? That's really, really high. Loaded with a bunch of risk, but I do like him. I think he could be fantastic in 2021, but a lot of risk. A lot of risk involved. Do I have any super chats that I've missed? Not yet. I think I'm good. Let's see here. Rico. 1.7 says Rico. 1.7. 2.3. Okay, guy. Gotcha. Pittman or Beasley? I go Pittman. Minshew dumps off more to him. I don't know. We'll see. In my opinion, top 6 picks should be in order: McCaffrey, Kamara, Cook, Henry, Saquon, Eckler. 2 through 4, so damn close. Yeah, we can talk about that. Colin with the super. Wilson or Allen?
Thank you for the super chat. May I have another?
What Allen is that, bro? Oh, quarterback. I'm thinking like the running back Wilson for San Fran. I'm like, you're not talking about flex, talking about Keenan Allen versus Wilson. You're talking about quarterbacks. You have some legit quarterbacks, bro. Russell Wilson and Josh Allen. Who we starting? Josh or Russell Wilson? Drop it. Drop it in the comments. Let's help Colin out. All right, let's get to some Q&A. But I like these topics. I think we're going to do this more often. Talk about a couple players to cue off the show, kick off the show, and get some good convo going on some controversial players. We got Wilson. Let Russ cook. Smitty, does Clyde have the video? What are you talking about? Smitty, start Clyde or Drake? Oh God, Alex, come on, bro. Drake's safer at this point, but I mean, either one can flop on you entirely, and either one of them can have 125 and 2 scores. Russell Wilson. Oh, COVID. I thought you meant the video. Okay, you kept saying, I think you're talking about video. Gibson versus Pittsburgh or Hunt versus Tennessee. Hunt's a tad safer, man. I don't know that I can tell you to literally bench Gibson. I almost feel like you got to find a flex solution for that. What's up, Ball is Life? It'd be tough for me to sit Wilson, man. Lockett, Diggs, Jefferson, 12-0. I'm going Jefferson. No, Diggs. Oh, God, the stack of Allen and Diggs, though. Stacks shouldn't influence you because ultimately you want the highest scoring player. The stack doesn't get you anything unless your league has like rewarded stack points, which most do not. But it sure is damn fun to watch Allen blow up, Diggs catch 2 touchdowns. You could lay off and go Wilson, Diggs, or put your nads on the line. I'm with Derek. I go Russell Wilson, but it's so tough. I go Wilson and Diggs. I lay off. And don't worry about the stack too much. I make the right decision at each position and don't think about that you own both. But if you went Allen and Diggs, you could talk me into it in about 5 seconds. I could go either way. Julio, Justin Jefferson or Gibson bench one. I think that's Jefferson. I probably start Jefferson and Julio because of the matchup for Gibson. Is Galladay playing again this season? Let's look up Galladay. Freaking Galladay, man. I do like Galladay for 2021. I think this is going to make a lot of people really upset. And they're going to be like, hell no. Hell no. Oh, 2020. 2020 just kicked all of us right in the nuts, man. Josh Allen listed with knee and ankle issues in week 13. Even more of a reason to maybe go Wilson if you own both of those guys, but I imagine he'll be fine. Calvin Ridley remained limited. Calvin, get back on the field. Don't be doing that BS. He's a top 5 to 10 wide receiver if Calvin Ridley's on the field. Michael Thomas remained limited Thursday. What else is new? Wouldn't shock me at all if Mike Thomas retired at halftime. I don't even know what to expect out of him in 2021. I want to draft him. If he's undervalued, I believe I will. But, I mean, can we see some kind of sign that we're not going to get screwed in 2021 if we invest in Michael Thomas? I mean, the 9 catches for 104 was nice in week 11, but 4 for 50 in week 12. Taysom Hill, not the best quarterback for the wide receivers because he can do very little in the air and cause those wide receivers to see less targets. So I don't know. Howard with a super chat. Thank you, Howard.
Thank you
Kareem
for the
Hunt
super chat.
for
May I have
Ridley
another?
and Aaron. Who's Aaron? Howard. Howard, you have to give me more information. There's Aaron Rodgers. There's Aaron Jones. I'll answer both because you're a beast and you super chatted and I appreciate you. Kareem and Hunt. Kareem and Hunt for Ridley, and if it's Aaron Jones, you take that and you run. I mean, I even get rid of Aaron Jones on the high, but you take that and run. If it's A-Rod and you need a quarterback, I still take it if you need a quarterback because I like Ridley as much as I like Hunt. I like Ridley maybe more than Hunt. Get off my back. Take the trade, says Derek. Why do the Saints play Taysom Hill? Jameis is better. Because they knew I had him in my tight end spot in the Throne League, bro. All right, rookies. We'll be getting into rookies on 1-1. I save my rookie content for my 2021 product, or when the ball drops and all you guys are out boozing it up. Smitty's away, typing away. At his rookie profiles, because that's what I do. That's what I live for. On 1-1 of the new year, when the ball drops, I swear, I'm not even joking. Why is Gibson's head still over here? I'm not even joking. I'm sitting there like this. As soon as the ball drops, boom, I transfer my 2020 product into the 2021 product on sleeperu.com. And guess what drops? 1 or 2 or 3 bowl predictions. One will drop in December to tease everybody, give you a taste of the bowl predictions. But 1 to 2 to 3, 4 bowl predictions could drop on sleeperu.com on 1-1. of 2021. Not only that, the rankings, everything will be updated. And I have a surprise for you guys. Sleeper U is going to be completely changed walking into 2021. Gibson for Ridley. Who wins? It depends what you need. I like Ridley a lot. I'm worried about him staying healthy, but I think he'll be fine. I'm going to bank on him being fine, but I could be wrong. But I like Ridley a lot. I think Gibson and Ridley are really, really close. You could make an argument that they're even, that they get drafted at the same place. How far does Zeke fall in 2021? Very good question, Larry. And you're going to get a lot of that on sleeperu.com. I think ultimately it 100% depends on how well he finishes. If Zeke looks the same that he's looked the last handful of weeks, from week 13 to 16 or 17, guess what? Zeke will be a second round pick in 2021 drafts, and I'm buying at that value. Maybe not in every league, but a lot of them, because I feel like risk is baked into that joint right there. I'm good to go with Zeke in round 2. Give him to me. Anyone else drop Zeke? No, you don't drop Zeke. Even if you were told Zeke will not do well the remaining part of the year, you can't drop him out of principle, bro. You get beat up for that kind of stuff. Damn, imagine Zeke returns to old Zeke and you got him in the second round. Larry, I imagine it every single night when I put my head to the pillow and I go to sleep. I think Zeke in the second round. Zeke in the second round. Let me look up Clyde Boy. You guys keep talking about Edwards Hilaire. Edwards Hilaire. Clyde Boy. Why aren't you loading? Clyde Edwards. Oh my gosh. Am I even live anymore? Did my internet go down again? Clyde. There we go. We're back. We're live. We're doing it live. Let's see. But we were holdout breath during the year of COVID-19. Reality is, however, the potential COVID players are usually identified before they get to the point where they need to be designated. Yeah, my guess is that Clyde does not have COVID-19. We will see. As the report indicated, that typically we find out a guy's on the COVID list before news ever breaks that they have, like, you find out a player has COVID and then, it's already, you don't find out he's sick first or that he's not feeling well. You find out he has COVID, then you find out he's sick. They know that stuff way before they even show signs of being sick. So I'm going to guess he isn't COVID-19 bound, but that's me. Chark or Swift, if he plays, you've got to play Swift, I think. That could be argued, though. What's up with my boy Kyler Murray? Let me real quickly tell you guys what's going on Sleeper U heading into 2021, because it's going to be off the charts. Kyler throwing shoulder upgraded to full practice Thursday. Don't worry about Kyler, bro. Run him out there. Hold on, Howard. Howard with a 10-spot super chat. Howard, you're the man, bro. Team is now Lamar, Ryan, Chubb, Aaron Jones, Tyreek, Ridley, Andrews, Evan Ingram, Sanders, Steelers, Dobbins, Gaskin on the bench, Pittman off the bench, 7-5 in a non-PPR. Your team's fire, man. I mean, Ridley starts playing well and stays healthy. Andrews somehow bounces back, and Lamar, you're untouchable. But even if drank too much soda there, even if Lamar and Andrews don't bounce back entirely, you still could win it with that team, bro. Like, that's a good team. Like, Chubb, Aaron Jones. If Aaron Jones gets going, Tyreek Hill can win the week for you by himself. Ridley, Tyreek Hill, Ridley, and Chubb alone. Or Aaron Jones, Ridley, and Chubb. Or Aaron Jones, Tyreek, and Ridley. Like, 3 of those guys going crazy can get you like 100. You know, you'll literally almost win your week off those 3 guys alone. So teams, I like that team. I take that team into war any day of the week. Smitty, does Ertz have any value? Yeah, but we got to figure out. You know, I'm not throwing him out there unless you know, my options are really bad. But I like Ertz. Let's look him up real quick and see what Ertz. I mean, he's activated. Yeah, I mean, he's going to get some run, but so is Goddard. Clyde, a flex rest of season? Yes, Philly, as long as he doesn't have COVID-19, which I believe he probably doesn't, based on the report saying that he's not feeling well. He has an illness. Not everything is COVID-19. And, you know, colds still break. Like, this is what's funny. People still have colds. You get a cold, the flu and cold season didn't put themselves on hold so that COVID-19 could have all the fun. You can still get a cold or the flu and not have COVID-19, Noah. Thoughts on Hunt? I like Hunt a lot, man, but he's going to be hit and miss and spotty for you, inconsistent, because he's a volume-based guy. He's getting equal, if not slightly lesser touches than Chubb. And you got to expect, if they play a different game script, and they got to scale back their running game, then Hunt's going to suffer. Hunt is an ultra efficient player. He has to be ultra efficient for you to get your bang for your buck each week. If Hunt doesn't get, you know, 14 carries, 15 carries, 13, you know, and isn't, if he's not efficient with those carries, doesn't break off a big long run, doesn't get, you know, a goal line touchdown, he can have literally 5, 6, 7 points, or he can have 25 or 30. He's that kind of running back. You got to expect that. Nitrous is flu plus COVID for Clyde. Get off Clyde's back, people. I'm disappointed in Clyde, I have to tell you. But doesn't mean that I don't believe he can still blow up. I mean, Hollywood Brown's big long touchdown run was nice the other night too. There are definitely, I'd say the guys that have disappointed me the most from my predictions would be Drake, but he still looks good. And Drake's still, what, 7th in the league in NFL rushing yards, and like 8th or 9th in touchdown runs for running backs. Like, he's still in the top 10 in both of those categories, and he missed 2 games and hasn't been like himself or fed properly, been game scripted out himself. I mean, it's crazy. Drake getting those TDs. Drake is a TD guy. Smitty, use the #1 waiver wire on Kittle or Everon. I mean, is Kittle, let's see. Let's see what's going on with Kittle. I mean, they're optimistic he'll return this season, but I mean, do I take a stab at him? Sure. Depends who I'm dropping, though. I think Drake can definitely pull it back. So the guys I'm most disappointed on my predictions would be Drake, but I still think he's got it. Clyde, not because of talent. Neither guy is disappointing me because of talent. I've been wrong on both of them to an extent with Drake, and to an extent not. But to an extent with Drake, and definitely been wrong in general on Clyde, given my high expectations and predictions that were too lofty to you know, muddle my way through what you could consider a season, like, you know, being, is like he's muddling through it. Good, bad, bad, good, bad, 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 good. I mean, that's Clyde, and it's all usage, but that's part of the problem, and I have to roll with that. I have to see that coming. That's on me. I take a lap. Where's my other take a lap?
Take a lap. Take a lap.
I take a lap for my Clyde prediction, but I still firmly believe in him. And if he got the volume, I don't know that I believe in Clyde's volume. I don't know that Clyde can get the volume in 2021 either. I don't know. I'm not writing him off. He could be on my bold predictions for 2021, or I might leave him off and just say, draft him late. It depends on where he goes. If Clyde gets drafted in the 3rd or 4th round, look me in the eye and tell me you don't think he's going to be on my bold predictions if Clyde starts falling to the 4th round, 5th round. Look me in my face and tell me you don't think Clyde's going to be on my top 10 bold predictions. You can bet that he will. No way I believe in Clyde off my bold predictions if that dude starts going in like the 4th and 5th round. The upside will be massive. The comeback will be victorious. To be proven correct on that eventually will be very prideful. I'll be a prideful man that day. I will be dancing around. But if Clyde's a 4th, 5th, 6th, Noah says 7th, 8th, give me that all day long. If anything, we could wrap this up into a blessing in disguise situation. Clyde just isn't that good. James, get out of here with that crap. James, do you watch football? Do you watch football, James? Because right now I'm questioning whether you think... James, come on, bro. Is Damian... even if Damian comes back, I mean, he's not going to take Clyde. Like, Lev Bell, Damian was probably a bigger threat to Clyde's workload than Lev Bell in a way because he knew the offense, but it's not about that. It's just about them giving the running back position enough run. They use multiple running backs no matter what. I'm fine with Damian Williams. I'm fine with Lev Bell. They could bring in Frank Gore, who never goes away. I don't care. They just need to have the game script where they're giving the running back position enough run that Clyde gets 14 carries. He doesn't need 22, 25 carries. He just needs enough work to pop off that 1 or 2 runs. He's learning the game. He's learning the offense. It's a very complex playbook. He's done an admirable job. Like, just fantastic as a rookie. I just think that there's a real good shot that it could be a blessing in disguise that if Clyde falls into, like, I don't know, some people are, I think they're joking with some saying 7th, 8th round, 6th, like, we don't know where ADP is going to be, but I don't know, man. I kind of feel like if he falls anywhere past the 4th round, 5th, 6th, 7th, like you talking about that, I'd probably sharp right in my pants on draft day. The problem is, will I have the reserve to hold back and not take him too early? Will I let ADP take its course, grab a hold of me, and allow me to get my money's worth out of Clyde in the later rounds? Or will I just grab him way too soon? Will I be able to use ADP to my advantage? I don't know. Because I drafted a lot of people that know my thinking, that know I wear my cards. I have my cards on the table. I wear everything on my sleeve. I've got basically who I'm going to draft on my forehead on an index card. Everybody knows in my drafts who I'm going to take, whether it's an expert league, whether it's a follower league. I do a couple buddy leagues still, so I get my satisfaction of taking the guys that no one. I guess a lot of people still know who I want though, because they see my shows. But it's tough for me to land a sleeper in any of my drafts. I just can't, because you guys won't allow it. We do a mock draft. If Clyde's going in the 5th, 6th round next year, you guys are going to take him in the 4th. You're going to go 1 or 2 rounds ahead of the ADP. Thanks a lot. Cousins is worth starting. Yeah, I mean, he is. Depends on your options, but imagine Swift with the Chiefs. No, James, because they wouldn't use him. Like, what are you talking about, James? Imagine Swift with the Chiefs. Why would you want Swift with the Chiefs? Clyde is literally one of the best running backs skill-wise. He is. I don't care what anybody says. You can come at me all you want. Just because he's not scoring doesn't mean he doesn't have the talent. It's not a talent issue. Show me where Clyde has failed. What do you mean Swift with the... Come on! James, Noah? I'm starting to think that James is Noah and Noah is James. This is a bizarre world. I'm yelling at you, James, like you're Noah. But Swift? No. He wouldn't... You don't want him there. They're not using the running back. So whether you disagree with Swift's talent over Clyde's or Clyde's over Swift, I totally 1,000% disagree. Clyde is better than Swift, but I don't mind that take. You can have that take. It's understandable. Like, a lot of people are excited about Swift, but what a lot of people fall victim to is that when it's new and fresh, yeah, I mean, Kanish, it's all about opportunity. Baby's good. Thank you for asking. Baby is good. Not using Clyde enough, correct. Swift is fool's gold to scanners. I halfway agree and halfway want to believe that Detroit can finally break the trend. Kanish, I believe, I'm with you, bro. Clyde is so talented. Swift is more explosive than Clyde. Not even, oh my God, not even close. Have you watched college football film, James? Watch Clyde's film. What do you mean he's more explosive? Good God. I like Swift. I do like him. But Swift is not as good as Clyde. I want Clyde to be in Detroit right now. And that's saying something because I hate Detroit for running backs historically. I like Swift. You're not going to get an argument on me. Cam Akers, number 1 waiver wire pickup this week, says Derek. Depends. I mean, Devontae Booker could be the top waiver wire guy, Derek, too, if Jacobs doesn't play. Not looking good right now. I might like him a little bit more than Cam because we don't know what we're dealing with. And with the Rams coaching staff, I don't want to put my fantasy football destiny, my playoff destiny for 2020 on the line with the Rams decision making and how they utilize and rotate their running backs unexpectedly. It's not just that they use multiple backs. You expect something, they don't do it. I don't know what it is. I don't know how you do that every single time, but I'm just staying away from them. Gibson better than Barry Sanders? Larry Jones. What?
Take a lap. Take a lap. Take a lap. Take
How do you...
lap.
Larry. Jeez, Larry. Just threw up in my mouth. I love Gibson, bro, but what the hell is going on, bro? Gibson or Dobbins this week? You gotta go Gibson, man. Come on. Yeah, Barry. Don't ever talk about Barry Sanders like that again. God, Barry. You probably weren't even alive yet when Barry was playing. You can't make a comment like that and ever see Barry Sanders play football. Just threw up in my mouth. I would not bench Gibson in favor of Dobbins. I don't care about the matchup. I'm not putting Gibson on the bench because of a matchup for a guy that we don't know what kind of run he's going to get. And I like Dobbins, but come on. Jacoby or Pittman? I go Pittman. But has Barry Sanders ever scored you 36.6 points to lock up the bye week? Larry, probably not. But you probably didn't have him or ever play fantasy football. I played fantasy football when Barry Sanders was in his prime. Chew on that. Yeah, I played that long. I played with Jerry Rice. I played with Steve Young. All those guys. You know, obviously John Elway and all the Aikman, Troy Aikman. Emmitt Smith was at his prime. Played with all those guys. And Barry would have got you 36.6 and locked up your bye week, bro. He scored 36 points 36 times, says Claudio. Probably, bro. Look it up. Galladay. Thoughts on Galladay? In 2020, I'm not so certain. Don't even know if we'll see him again, but I hope we do. I think he's a great value in 2021. Galladay. Ridley. I cringe to just say Mike Thomas, but you got to. Elliott. All these struggling elite players are great grabs in 2021. Don't diss my uncle, Smitty. Who's your uncle, Yoda? Swift is better than Clyde. Get out of here with that creed. Gaskin, thoughts? Don't know what to expect is my thought. My first thing that I blurt out. Not sure. We aren't. But upside, yeah. In a bind, have him. If he's playing, you play him. If he's not, you don't. Steve Young would have been amazing to have in fantasy Skinners. He was. He was fun to own. You know who the two... I'll give you the 4 most fun players, maybe 5, maybe 6. I don't think I can narrow it down to like 2 or 3. Tomlinson, yes. Tomlinson was 1. Not number 1 overall, but one of the most fun players to own. Number 1 most fun player to own in fantasy football. Number 1 is a tie. I still can't narrow it down. Kurt Warner and Priest Holmes. If you didn't play fantasy football when Priest Holmes was in his prime, you don't even know what it's like to have the best player in fantasy football week in and week out. You don't know what it's like walking into your matchup with one guy. I mean, like, you're done. You're done. You face Priest Holmes in your matchup, you might as well just mark down the L and walk away from the sports bar, which is where you watched the games back then. Priest Holmes was elite. Priest Holmes was the best player in fantasy football history, and he only played a very short period of time at that level. But Priest Holmes, yeah, Jamal Charles, Priest Holmes, Kansas City definitely knew how to deliver. Larry Johnson, Priest Holmes was so amazing. His 3 and 4 TD games, it was unbelievable. Kurt Warner was a number 1 overall pick. Everybody that says don't draft a QB early, draft a QB, you'd roll over in your grave if you woke up during Kurt Warner's reign, where he was number 1 overall in fantasy football drafts, and he deserved to be. Kurt Warner single-handedly won you fantasy football championships during his prime. Kurt Warner was the best fantasy football quarterback to ever play. Kurt Warner and Priest Holmes were unreal. LT, Marshall Faulk, all up there. Debo or Amari, I'd probably go Debo this week, but yeah, rest in peace sports bars, that's for sure. Marshall Faulk was amazing. Kurt Warner was the G. LT was the greatest fantasy player ever. You could definitely make that argument. Mine are Holmes and Kurt Warner. A lot of that, I don't even know if statistically they were the best for, the most points or anything, or even had the best season. Herbert over Kurt Warner. Philly, you did not play fantasy football during Kurt Warner's era then. Because you wouldn't even come close to saying that. Mahomes could be better than Warner. But for right now, Warner's, I think, still probably got the edge. Talking about Rams Kurt Warner, right? Not Arizona Kurt Warner. I mean, Arizona Kurt Warner was still good. But yeah, Rams Kurt Warner. We're talking about the track meet team. The all-track team, the Rams, spread the field better than any offense ever will. Herbert was the potential, though. Yeah, Herbert's got potential to be top 5 fantasy quarterback type numbers for the rest of his career, or, for the peak of his career. Mahomes first round 2021, no, because he's Sergio, you don't have to. Is he deserving of it? Probably. Yeah, LT was amazing. It's weird when a running back drops off, though, because like when Emmett came here to Arizona, it was hard watching him and being like, how is he not the same guy? Like, when you lose that tiny step, how much it changes your game. And you like Gore, or AP. Look at Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson still looks pretty much the same. Like, if you're looking from far back, you're just like, you're glancing at him, but he obviously has lost, that edge or that step, or he would be dominating. He's got opportunities over the last 2 or 3 years to really rip it off and be, running back 1. and he can't really, you know, put it all together. He can only be okay. He looks really strong and efficient and hard to tackle, but what's going on here? What's going on here with my iPad? LT got, I don't know how, his total wasn't 30, but he got like a really high number. But Priest Holmes had, I think, 27 or something touchdowns. I forget what it was. Kelsey, 1.2. I don't take Kelsey in the first round, but I don't blame anybody for doing it. He's very deserving. The logic is there. Kyle says, do you see my question? Kyle, let me throw it on screen. Hold on. Sorry, Derek, I see your question. Kyle, I'm looking. Kyle, did you super chat? I'm looking for it, man. Traded Zeke, Johnny, and Ayuk for Christian McCaffrey and Kelsey. Nice work. Smitty, would you keep Herbert as a 16th round keeper? Depends on your other keepers, but sure, absolutely. Derek, thank you for the super chat. James White or Brandon Ayuk in the flex. I go James White. He had, 2 TDs last week. Didn't have a whole lot of volume, but the 2 TDs were nice. You know, he's getting used in the red zone. Outside of Pat and Kyler, what QB do you draft in 2021? So it does go Pat. Let me go over to the marker board. Let's dig into this right here. Yeah, buddies. Yeah, buddies. Where's my marker? To 21 QBs. This isn't even arguable, and I'll even put a tier break there. I don't care what anybody says. 2, I think you could argue Kyler has competition for this spot, though. Wilson and Allen, but Wilson, I think, is more deserving of it. Allen and Herbert are kind of like tied here, and Watson. So that's kind of how I see it right there. No Dak. Dak's got to return to form before I even come close to respecting him there. I'm not sure if that's what you're answering to. But, I mean, to me, that kind of feels like... Let me just see if there's anybody else that comes to mind for me that I might argue here. But I think, for the most part, I mean, Burrow will eventually get there to these guys' level. I think Burrow will, but not quite yet. You know, Lamar Jackson, you could float in this area here, you know, or way down here. I'm not saying he'll be there, but I'm saying he could rebound. Aaron Rodgers is getting older. I'm not putting him there. Dak's hurt. I'm not going to put him there. It's really this core right here. Watson could go 3. He could go 6. Wilson could go 2. He could go 4. Allen could go 2. Allen could go 5. Herbert could go 3 or 4. I mean, it's very arguable. I love when people get all upset about this. They're like, oh my God, you have it all wrong. How could you not have blah, blah, blah? Rodgers, he's still not, he's 36 years old. I don't know if he turned 37 yet, but Rodgers, A-Rod is still somebody that's going to be right around this range for another year or two. Like, people are so weird when they talk about A-Rod. Like, he's old. No, he's not. He's 36 years old. Tom Brady's getting to near his mid-40s now. He's 37 today. That's ironic, if he is. If that's true. Let's look that up. Is that true? Is it his birthday today? That's hilarious if it is. Let me look it up. Not that I don't believe you, but I don't believe you. Today's his... No, yesterday was his birthday, bro. Just turned 37 yesterday. So happy birthday, A-Rod. But yeah, I think he's got potentially 2 to 3 more elite years left. Not 1 to 2. He has literally 2 to 4. But we'll call it 2 to 3 because Smitty likes to write everything down. At least 2 to 3 years left for A-Rod. So get off his back. A-Rod's 37. Happy birthday, A-Rod. definitely could be argued right in this range. But I love when people get mad about Watson here, or Herbert here, or Wilson, or Allen, or Kyler. Like, you have any leg to stand on to act like that's a ridiculous ranking. You could have this all over the map, and I give you credit if you have this different than I do. I love when people get all upset about it. Like, oh my god, this is crap content. Here, Herbert, not number 4. They have him 5. Idiots. Never watching this show again. He had Herbert 5 and not 4. Watson, like Noah Watson way too high. How is Watson way too high? I venture to say most people like Watson higher than this, Noah. Watson way too high. What will be interesting is where Burrow eventually falls. Will Burrow be right here? Will he be as good as Herbert and Allen in 1 to 2 years? I venture to say Burrow could be as good 1 to 2 years. But it's gonna be interesting. See how he recovers. Top rookie next year. It's tough, man. You know what's going to be hard? Logan, I can't wait for my rookie content, but it's going to be harder. It's going to be about as hard rookie content to kind of iron out everything that you're thinking and make sure you feel like you've got all your T's crossed, your I's dotted in the evaluation process, because risk is going to be hard to control and evaluate and determine with these rookies without the proper college season and off season and all that. And the upcoming off season, we don't know what that's going to look like, but it's really hard to know where these rookies are going to be talent wise, what kind of effect not playing will have on them. When players hold out, sometimes players that hold out never return to form, and so you got to be worried about what essentially the college season that these rookies have endured is going to do to them. You know, will ETN have problems adjusting to the NFL game? I don't know. It's going to be really, really tough, but I don't know. It's going to make it fun. Don't draft Kyler next year. In fact, don't draft a QB early next year. Lamar taught us that all. Lamar taught us that could backfire. Mahomes teaches you every time that it can still work out. It depends on what you do. What I love about the never draft a QB early argument against is, A, you can draft a QB early and still win your league. The blanket statement that you shouldn't draft a QB early, I think, isn't something that pertains to everybody. Everybody has different draft strengths, and if you are a great running back sleeper and wide receiver lander, but you don't land your quarterbacks in the mid rounds, but you do well when you build your team around a quarterback like Mahomes and you land your other positions, to make a statement that you should never draft a quarterback early is just so blanket and wrong. Because I build tons of teams that win every year drafting my quarterback in the second round because I land my other picks. It ultimately comes down to landing your picks. If you land your picks, and I know that sounds very obvious, like, hey, Captain Obvious, but it's this simple, and this is why I laugh when people make this argument, never take a QB early. It's the most ridiculous argument. In general, most people do better taking a QB later. Doesn't mean that it's always the thing to do for everybody else. When you make a blanket statement about somebody else and you assume that they have the same draft values as you and same skill level as you and the same exact draft style, it's pretty crazy. Here's Rowan says Dynasty full PPR Cook for Saquon in a late first. I take Cook at this point. We just don't know what we're getting with Saquon, and Cook is playing out of his mind. Although I will say that I look at selling Cook high because I do worry about him getting hurt. Like, he's just always about to get hurt. But Barkley's hurt too, so you're talking about 2 hurt players outside of Pat. Okay, so I did that already. Thank you for that super chat. And I don't know if I missed any others. Ayuk. Oh, sorry, Derek, if I missed this one. No, I didn't. I got that one right. James White. Yeah. LT was the greatest fantasy player ever. Says Derek. Thank you for the super chats, Derek. Okay, I think I got all my super chats caught up. So, taking a QB early. Here's what I'm gonna put you all in your place that say that it's bad. Okay. Number 1, I love taking a QB late. So if here's, the first round, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then we got the music. Wilson went around this range and is winning you a league. Josh Allen went around. No, Allen went way later than that. Allen went like way down there. And you're winning a league. Taking a quarterback late can work out fantastic. But you have to land that player. Everybody acts like everyone's going to land the player. This is not the case. Not everyone's going to land this player. Being able to land this player, the quarterback that you're taking, to get the Herbert, to get the Josh Allen, there's not just 15 of them, is the same as taking the lock Mahomes here and landing your running back here or your wide receiver or whatever you're taking here. It sounds captain obvious, but I'm sorry, but it is. You have to land whatever the opposite of your like if I'm taking the QB early here and I'm locking in Mahomes, saying he's a lock, and I think he's the closest thing to a lock for fantasy production and winning, I have to land this pick. If I don't land this pick, this is a garbage approach. It ends up tanking on me. But it's the same thing for the guy that takes, Allen or whatever. You have to land this player. And you still have to land this player too. It's not as simple as, you wait on a QB, you get rewarded. And not everybody has the same skill set to land the same types of sleepers later. Some people are late to the party on running backs and wide receivers. Some people are really good at landing. If you're really good at landing next year's James Robinson, and if these are the rounds, and landing, Calvin Ridley's, and all that, then a Mahomes is the best approach for you. Because you're dominant at running back drafting. You're dominant at wide receiver drafting. You know how to land a late tight end that's going to do well for you. This is for you. If you suck at late running back and wide receiver drafting, and you have garbage running backs every single week in and week out, because you don't know how to land late running backs, then you've got to take your running back in rounds 1 and 2, or at least one of them there, and then round 3. If you don't do that, you're going to screw yourself because you don't know what you're doing back there. That's the way it is. We don't all have the same skill set. But I'm telling you right now, every single season, I'm drafting a quarterback in round 2 like Mahomes, and I'm doing well. Let me ask you this question. All of the drafting a QB haters like Noah out there. This is our throne team, and might I remind you that we drafted this team together as a community. My quarterback, we drafted Cook. We drafted DK. Who's our other wide receiver? Blanking out here. Got so many leagues. Actually, let me just screenshot and throw my team up on the screen here. We got a couple bye weeks this week, unfortunately. But here's the team that we have in the Throne League. This is a quarterback early draft. And we're in first place in our division walking into the bye week in the Throne League. Thank you very much. And let's see if I can send this to my screen. Hold on a second. Here's my team right here in the Throne League. Patty Mahomes. This is our throne team. Patty Mahomes, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Chris Godwin, DK Metcalf. Robinson's only in there because we couldn't move him out of the lineup because we wanted to keep Taysom Hill in at tight end. So now with the bye weeks to Godwin and Davis, we got to move Taysom Hill out of the tight end spot. But that team is lit. Now we did trade for Henry, but look what we're able to navigate. Look what we're able to navigate with the draft style that we had. That's one of the best teams I've ever assembled. We assembled it together, and we've been hit with injury. We've been hit with a few things, Godwin especially, and then picking on Mike Davis. I put every dollar. I think I put all $100 of our $100 blind bid money on Mike Davis because I knew that Mike Davis would be elite. He'd be the best pickup of the year, and he carried us for a long time. We're first in the division, looking at a first round bye if we win this week. But yeah, I mean, this is a freaking fantastic. I think I found your account there, James. Just play nice. I unbanned it. I found it. No, I didn't see yours blocked. Mahomes, Cook, Henry, Godwin, Metcalf. It's a great team. Love that squad. Robinson is terrible. Well, we had to leave. We literally had buys the week prior, and we had to leave him in the lineup. This week we have Debo. We couldn't put Debo in last week because we had to keep Hill in the lineup, but we have Debo this week. We do need a tight end. Our bench is as follows. We have Hunter Renfrow, Adrian Peterson, Ben Roethlisberger, Valdez-Scantling, Gronk, who's on a bye, so we need to get a tight end. Deebo Samuel, Madison, and Newton. But at tight end, let me see who's available, who we could pick up at tight end. Tell me who you guys would pick up. Higbee, Jimmy Graham, Sample, Burton, Kmet, Hollister. It's a thin tight end pool. The crazy thing is we got to put Debo in for Godwin, and we got to put in another player for Mike Davis. But who do we put in for Mike Davis? Renfrow. It's almost. Let me ask you a question. Would you rather? Let me ask you a question, Derek. Tell me what you think. I trust Derek's quick take on this. Derek's pretty quick on the draw. Would you rather leave this lineup as is heading into the next week with no Godwin and no Davis, or would you rather have Debo in place of Godwin and Burton or Graham at tight end, and then Renfrow or AP or Madison or whoever at flex? Because you got to ask yourself, will Taysom Hill outscore the tight end and the wide receiver? I don't know. So it is actually a dilemma on our hands because the waiver pool is thin. We've got a lot of bye weeks. And if we can get through... Now, the problem is this makes a lot of people butthurt, this whole Taysom Hill thing. Half the people get so passionately mad about it. They're like, you can't do that, it's cheating! It's not, because ESPN allows it. And ESPN has an FAQ on it, and you can go educate yourself on it, because they don't call it cheating, and they have the ability to give you a 0. But either leave Taysom Hill in it. Yeah, you can keep him in at tight end if you don't move him out, but you can't make any changes to anything. It makes you take care of that first before you add, drop, or anything. But are we better off leaving this lineup alone, having Taysom Hill in there? Or do we put, because we can't play Taysom Hill at flex anymore, we take him out and then we have to put in Burton, and then we put in Debo for Godwin, and then Renfro at flex. So I don't know. I might just leave it. I think Kanish says I'm better off leaving it. Derek says I'm better off leaving it. Why are you playing on that platform? It is cheating because he's not a tight end. Claudio, we've gone over this, man. Marvin says leave it. No, because I'm not talking about whether it's cheating or not. You guys have already voiced your opinion on that. I totally 100,000% disagree. It's not cheating. And ESPN has an FAQ on it. ESPN, if you want to get mad at anybody, get mad at ESPN, who's not penalizing anybody for leaving him in. I can't move anyone else, Peter. So that's what I'm saying. Would you rather lose Hill to put Debo in for Godwin, to put Renfro in for Davis, and to put Burton? So it's basically Taysom Hill versus Debo, Renfro, and Burton. And AP. I have AP. But so I do have AP. So Derek, does that change your mind? I don't know if I mentioned I had AP. Can you absorb the loss this week? Yeah, we'll make the playoffs, but if we win, we're in first place. Like, we want to win and get the first round bye. So we can get a bye. If we win the week, we get a bye week. That's a huge thing. I won't even need Taysom Hill the next week because I'll have a bye week. Hill isn't going to outscore Burton, Debo, and Renfro, Peter says. I don't know, man. He could. He could. Derek says keep Taysom in. Taysom, you think Derek, you think Taysom could outscore all three? And that's the other thing, Peter, you got to understand that what we're talking about is deeper than this week. If I don't make a move, Peter, Taysom stays in for the next week. Taysom stays in until I take him out. So if I get through week 14 or week 13, in weeks 14, 15, and 16, Hill will outscore all three, LOL. Even if he doesn't, like Peter was saying, Peter says my bad. Even if Peter's right, even if it doesn't outscore him, if I could still get the win, or if I get the loss, am I better off heading into all three of the bye week free games for me in the playoffs with Taysom Hill at quarterback or at flex or whatever? I would keep him in, says Alex Cruz. Gary says it's cheating if no one else has that luxury. No, it's not, Gary. We've gone over this over and over and over. It's not cheating. That's what I call, I don't get to do it, so why should anybody else? It's like, there's a reason, Gary, I went and made that. There's a reason I made videos on going and doing it. Everyone had the opportunity to go get him. I talked about picking Taysom Hill up and putting him in at your quarterback heading into the first week. And everybody's acting like it's cheating because they can't do it anymore. You should have done it. You should have done it. I told everybody to do it. And it wasn't cheating the first go around to everybody because he was quarterback and wide receiver eligible. They announced he was going to be the quarterback. I was saying pick him up, grab him, start him. You might get longevity out of this. And now because everybody can't, like, what do we play fantasy football for if we're not going for advantages, trying to outsmart our opponents, trying to find the edge? How is it yeah, Smitty just takes advantage of the opportunity. Absolutely. Like, it's not cheating. I'll argue to the end of the earth with anybody that wants to argue it with me. ESPN has the opportunity to give you 0 points and give you an illegal lineup. They aren't doing that. They're leaving it up to the leagues because they know they created a big crap storm. And you were smart enough to pick up Taysom and put him in your lineup like I told you to do and benefit the first week of that. And then watch everybody cry about it because they could have done it, but they didn't listen. And now everybody's going to be all butthurt about it. I'm not angling that at any one of you, like Leo. I appreciate you, Leo Brofist. I gotta go. This is all I got for today. This is a long show, actually. We're an hour and 20 minutes. I appreciate everybody's well wishes and all that. The little one came into the earth. We brought a new one into the world, and she's doing great. Totally healthy. Everything's good. Appreciate all of you. My league, guy. This is the Throne League, the biggest expert league in the fantasy football Instagram history that I created, where there's 12 expert pages and communities. All of us as a community drafted these teams. So we had over 100,000 followers involved drafting these teams. My followers drafted my team. I go to vote, and you can be a part of it this next year. I've run this league. It's the biggest league, best league ever. And when we're on the clock, I go to you guys. No one's ever done this before. I go to you guys and poll you, and we all draft the player that we decide together as a community. And this is the team that we amassed. I made that trade without talking to too many people. I did go to the people in I believe the Discord or wherever I took it, and they're like, do it, and I wanted to check with my people. But the trade, we gave up Rojo, who's playing good. Rojo, Cooks, and Kareem Hunt for Derrick Henry. Look at this team. Look at this wonderful, wonderful team. And we just got to get through this week. And I think I'm going to keep Taysom in as of right now. It's going to create a lot of waves. But nobody in the Throne League wanted to throw a fit about it. And now they're gonna say to themselves, I don't care if he kept him in. Good for him. Like, I think a couple of them said that. And I don't think they've realized that I'm willing to go through the bye week to keep Taysom in the next week. Oh, there's going to be an asterisk behind the win this year if we win the Throne League with this approach. But I don't care. Let the drama come. Bring the drama. Oh, Smitty cheated by starting Taysom Hill. I don't care. It was strategy. All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate all of you. Peace out. Thank you,